Hi, my name is Angela, and this is my CIS 3367 final for Professor Wheeler's class. As many of you know, the summer semester is almost over, which means graduation is coming up. And I have a few friends that are graduating seniors that plans to host a graduation party together. Therefore, I decided to base my final on their graduation party plan. So I conducted a simple survey and asking them a couple of questions. So in my survey, I basically asked how much money are you willing to contribute and some yes or no questions to decide whether it's more wise to host a party at a restaurant or at somebody else's house. And according to my results, the answers points to you should host a party at a restaurant. So these three questions are three questions I asked in my survey, and before you saw that the responses were either yes, no, or depends, right? But I basically substituted those responses with a number. So no means 1, depends means 0, and yes means 2. And from this pivot table and using a KPI, you can see that most of the responses points to 1, which means no. So this means that people should not host a party at someone else's place because nobody's willing to clean up, and the house cannot fit that many people, and no one wants to cook. So now my friends are going to host a party at a restaurant. And before I continue, I want to disclose that even though the party and surveys and the results are real, the numbers I'm about to show you in the income statements are fabricated, so they're not real. So what we have here is a very simplified income statement. We have revenues and expenses. For the revenue, it only says $6,000 because that's the amount of money that my friends are willing to contribute. And for the expenses, we have fixed costs and variable costs. So for fixed costs, right, regardless of the number of attendees, these amounts are set. And for variable costs, the number will change based on the number of attendees or the number of tables. So for the first half, from invitation cards all the way to gift bags, the numbers are based on the number of attendees, and we'll use the number of attendees times the unit price to get our total cost for these items. And for the bottom three, refreshment, tablecloths, and flowers, we'll base it off the number of tables. So basically, there'll be 10 tables for this event because I want everyone to sit comfortably, and I think 6 people at a table will make them feel comfortable and have a lot of space. So then, if you do 10 times 150, that's how you get the 1,500. And as you can see that with only $6,000, it's not sufficient to cover up all our expenses. We have a net loss of $1,270. So that means that people that are attending the party should make a small donation to help cover the cost. Also, we're going to use GoalSeek to determine how much money should everyone contribute to have a net income of 0. To get to GoalSeek, you go to the Data tab and click on What If Analysis, and there you'll see GoalSeek. So for GoalSeek, right, the set cells is going to be our net income cell. So in our case, it would be D24. And we want to have the value to 0 so we don't have any loss, and we make sure all our expenses are paid. And by the changing cell, we will have it as E5. I highlighted red so we know which one to click on. And from GoalSeek, you can see that if everyone just pays a little bit more than $21, then we would not have any expenses left uncovered, and we'll have basically having a net loss of 0. And if you were wondering how come this cell is highlighted red, so it's actually a condition that I set, and the condition is that if this number is less than 27, then it'll be marked red. And this number 27 is the average amount that everyone's willing to contribute. So in my survey earlier, I asked how much money is everyone willing to pay, and if you take the average of all the responses, you get $27. So that's why I have this as $27 to make sure that the amount needed to pay is within everyone's budget. And now that we've figured out how much money everyone has to pay, I have set up another scenario for us. So in the last tab, I have also another income statement. It's the same format as earlier, except for this time the numbers are slightly different. So our contributions is still $6,000, so that's the amount that my friends were willing to pay. But this time we have a set donation of $1,620. Because we cannot guarantee that everyone's willing to make a small donation, but we can credibly estimate that we could gather a total of $1,620 from all the attendees. And in this scenario, the restaurant owner told us that if we can accurately guess the number of orders for every dish, then we might have a small discount at the very end. In this scenario, we'll have to find out, how many orders that can everyone make and how many attendees can we have using the set amount of revenue. So, as you can see over here, there are some cells highlighted in red, and these red cells are basically covered with the $6,000 contribution, and that's why over here for use, right, it says $5,770 because these amounts are covered within the $6,000, and we have some remaining, which is $230. And this $1,850 is from the remaining amount, plus the donations that we'll get from the guests. So we have this much money used for refreshments. And if we scroll down, we'll see the different prices for each type of meal. So for the meals, we have steak, seafood, vegetable, and chicken. And the unit prices are listed over here. And over here we have the number of orders, which I just randomly generated. And as you can see with these numbers, we still have some net income. So that means that we can actually invite more people to our event, because right now I only have 63 people coming. So we actually can have more. So to determine how many orders can everyone make and the maximum number of guests that can attend our event, we're going to use Solver to help us figure that out. So for a set objective, we have it to be 2, so we can know the maximum number of attendees that can come to our event, and that's why over here it's listed as max. And by the changing variable cells, we'll be changing the number of order placed for every single meal. So basically the cells over here. And for the constraint, we actually have quite a bit of constraint for our problem. So the first one says that B2 has to be greater than 0. Well, because we want people to attend our party, so that's why it has to be at least more than 0. And the next one, it says C32 has to be less than or equal to 1,850. So the 1,850 is the amount of money that we're allocating to all our refreshments. And C32 is the total of the total price for all our refreshments that will be ordered. And now the third one says D24 is greater than or equal to 0. So that means that the net income should be 0 or only slightly more, because we don't want a net loss. So for the next two, we can see that G28 to G31 has been integer and greater or equal to 1. So let's scroll down to see the numbers. So basically it's referring to these numbers. And because we don't want to give someone like a fraction of an order, so that's why it has to be an integer, and we think people will like order from these different type of menus, so that's why it has to be greater than 1. And then the remaining ones are conditional, saying that, like, for example, it says G29 has to be less than or equal to G28, because I think that the steak and the seafood would be the two most popular and most ordered ones, so that's why it would be like equal to or the greater amounts. And then I think vegetables was the least desirable one, so it will be the least liked it, and so I had set the condition based on this his thought process. And the last one over here says G32 is less than or equal to B2. So basically, over G32 is the total number of orders, and it will equal to the amount listed on B2, which is also the number of attendees. So I think those two should be equal. So now, I'm gonna hit solve, and then the numbers changed. So now, you can see that number of orders are like 19, 19, 18, 19. And what that means that we can reasonably estimate that these are the number of orders for the particular dishes, and that the maximum number of attendees that we can have using these number of orders is 75 people, and we will only have $2 remaining from our provided revenues. So this is the end of my video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. So bye now.